Warning: the following video will contain language of a frankly explicit nature. Your discretion is advised. We'll also be talking about very disturbing subject matter, such as the political election, depression, and suicide. If you're easily offended or are not up to watching something like this, then stop watching now. Hey guys, Dave here, and just got back from work, and something occurred to me. I'll get to making my other videos here, hopefully soon. I know nothing's been pushing off as far as for my reviews and stuff, but I tend to make videos when I'm inspired, and something inspired me today. There was a moment where I was just feeling like absolute crap, and it started making me think about other times that I've felt like that, when I felt useless, worthless, helpless, powerless, ugly, different, divided from other people that care, and all alone. And that's got me thinking about this year's election, 2016, and particularly Tuesday, November 8th, 2016. And the reason I'm making this video is, have you thought about this, how stressful it's all been, how exhausting the pundits are, the news coverage, who to vote for, the anger about certain issues, the right versus wrong, the left versus right, the bullshit. Doesn't it just want to make you kill yourself? I know it does for me. But don't worry. I took the bullets out of the gun. There's nothing in the chamber, and I fired a blank chest shot just to make sure. This is empty, but I have little bullets in my lap right now. I wanted to get your attention because one thing I am a very big expert on is suicide and depression. I've dealt with both on and off for a number of years. And there's one thing I'm seeing a great deal that is growing on my Facebook feed, on various chats, on news. And one thing I'm seeing is something that I have to speak out about. And that is, I'm seeing that there are friends, family members, long lost loved ones that are being ruthlessly divided over their political beliefs and views over this. Their mothers, daughters, sisters, brothers, aunts, uncles, cousins, people that are friends, families, people that are being torn apart because of political views. People saying that if you don't agree with me on this, then you are diametrically opposed to me and what I believe is right, so much so that you are no longer welcome in this house. There are people that are talking about getting divorced, families being torn apart, people being kicked out of their homes. And I know what it's like to feel that alone. Now, fortunately, I'm not suicidal right now. I can relate to that abyss. I don't plan on leaving, but I want you to think about something for a second. I want you to imagine that somebody that you personally know, a close family member, friend, loved one, coworker, even someone that you just bump into and aren't too crazy about. Imagine for a second that Tuesday night, election night, November 8th, 2016, is the last night you'll see them alive again. how did you leave things off with them? Were they feeling good? Were they in a good mood? Were they angry? Were they stressed out? What if that's the last thing you get to be to them? What if there won't be any chances to catch up, to talk about things, to try to put things that are wrong back up to right? And that just depressed the hell out of me. See, I've gone through a lot. And let's see, I'm a 43-year-old Caucasian male. I voted for neither one of the big parties. I decided to make a write-in. This is not the time to try judging me on who I write in. I'm not trying to do a political discussion. That's not a door for that. I'm trying to talk about depression and suicide. And if anyone wants to try to have a fight with me right now, then go somewhere else. But think about it. I'm also going through a Chapter 7 bankruptcy right now, so to some people, my life means absolutely nothing. I am worthless. I am valueless. And I felt that before. Now, I know that I'm not. I've achieved a lot in my life. Not quite as much as I'd like to, and I'd like to get back to it. But I'm not useless. I'm not worthless. And I'm sure as hell not powerless. Even though I may feel like that. I have this overwhelming feeling. See, as I've written about in my book, I'm what they call an emotional hypersensitive. This is a fancy scientifically recognized word for empath. It means that there are some people that are hardwired. It's not in their brains, but they're hardwired to take external stimuli, like the emotions and vibes of other people, and it's amplified inside of them. For some, they feel it as intensely, if not more so, than their own energies. Why do I bring this up? Now, imagine all the tension going on around everybody, and now imagine that there is somebody that feels everything, all of it, as if they were that person, all at once. It's maddening. So, whatever your affiliation, whatever your sexual orientation, whatever your gender, wherever you stand on it right now, that doesn't really matter. What I would like you to do is to keep in mind the people that you talk to or about. Think about someone that may go through a lot of stress, who's been through a lot of stress. God knows 2016's been full of it. How are they doing? Are they seeming okay right now? Are they stressed out a little bit? Are they more so? Or are they the opposite? Are they smiling more and brighter, hiding behind a facade of joy just so no one will bug them or ask them? See, when I was younger, I did that too. I know what it's like to put up a front to make people feel better about themselves because you're hollow inside and there's nothing left. But that's wrong. See, that's a lie. That's a trick. That is a trap. Because if all you're doing is putting on a facade, there was an actress I knew named Natalie D'Amour. She was beautiful. I met her. She did incredible work. I was hoping to work with her one day in our certain circles. But I didn't get a chance to because she was in great pain. And she made a suicide pact with a friend also in similar pain. So they killed themselves. Robin Williams, the guy that got me into comedy, took his own life. He smiled so bright. His laugh was contagious. He made everyone feel better. We couldn't help him. You're talking to somebody, now this is absolutely serious. And I'll give you permission to laugh in case you're a sick bastard like me. One night, I became a double punchline. I was feeling very low. I couldn't get a hold of any of my friends. So I called the National Suicide Prevention Hotline. I did so twice that night. The first time I called, I was cut off. I was disconnected. I found this laughable. I called back a second time. I actually got a hold of someone. Because I wasn't necessarily going to kill myself at that exact moment, but just wanted someone to talk to, they put me on hold. I called the suicide hotline twice in one night. The first time, they cut me off. The second time, they put me on hold. That absolute absurdity, with me being the butt of that joke, got me able to laugh enough to realize that I can get through this. The next day I did talk to friends and family, and I was better. But I was a punchline. Now, there are other people that wouldn't have handled it as well as I did. I can only imagine that statistically there are people out there that have called and had similar things happen to them, but they didn't laugh about it. They didn't call back a second time. That was it. And that scares the hell out of me. We're not our orientations. We're not our demographics. We're not what color on the screen we vote for. We're not our political parties. We are human beings with life and hope and dreams and love and anger. And every one of us sees that there are things that are wrong and want them to be better. We can all agree on that. We don't agree on the methods to get there, but we can all agree that there are things that need to be fixed. So I'm just worried. Come election night, whoever wins, someone's going to be made to feel like they lose. Think about those people. Or if you are one of those people, think about who would miss you when you're gone. I'd like you to do something for me, even after this video is done. All from starting this week of election week until New Year's 2017. The holiday season, although maybe become over commercialized, is supposed to represent the best of us, huddling together, peace on earth, goodwill toward men and women, all human beings. So what I'd like you to do is, I want you to think about what would happen if election night or some night this week is the last night you'll see someone that you personally know alive again. And I want you to keep that in mind. And I want you to reach out to them. A text, email, call them, Snapchat, video chat, something. Hell, if it's not too far out of the way, go up to their house, drive up there, knock on the door, and check on them. If they're good friends, they're not going to mind that. Because even if you don't feel it, sometimes the best thing to just keep going is to know that you've got better things to do with your life than the abyss where you're going. I'm not talking about preaching. I'm talking about if you want to actually do something to show all the stuff that you normally wait until the end of the year to do, to show you're a good person somehow, not to do it for some imaginary point system, not for some rewards for doing what you know is right. I'm not talking about doing it to debate, which people have been doing all up and down the last 2 years. I'm not talking about preaching. I'm not talking about psychoanalyzing. I'm not talking about proselytizing. I'm not talking about trying to be right in a verbal fight. I'm talking about reaching out to someone you personally know that may be having a hard time, listening and talking to them. Because now more than ever, we need humanity, not political affiliations. We need to be the people we want to be. That's why I'm making this video. I have this feeling that someone, either I know or someone connected to someone I know, could be dying. And just hiding behind a facade and doing so alone. And I can't let that happen. If I have the choice, if I have the power to reach out and be someone's hope in that time of need, instead of letting them die alone, I want to take the chance, erring on the side of caution and reaching out. I'd rather say, "Are you okay?" and have them say no than to say nothing and let them die alone. I can't do that. I've been there. That's what I'd like you to do. I'd like you to be good people to each other. I want you to remember that you are people. Some people are out there waiting for a signal, for a fight, waiting to go to war. They're willing to die for what they believe in. They're willing to kill for who and what they believe in. Are you willing? Are you willing to let someone you know die by doing nothing? If there's ever been a time that you were waiting, if you ever said to yourself, when it really counts, if it actually mattered, if this was a test for my life, I know what I would do. I know I would be ready. I would do the right thing. Not for a reward, not for points, not to make up for bad stuff, but just to be there. Then it would count, and I would do it. All it takes is for someone to say it. I'm saying it now. And for those of you that feel like you're in that abyss, that you're the one that needs help, then reach out. Get help. Call the National Suicide Prevention Hotline. Call a friend, family member, somebody. There's always someone that wants to talk to you, someone wants to care. You might even be surprised. It might even be someone who disagrees with you. Please, get help. It gets better. You have better things to do than to pass over something as stupid as a political affiliation. I know it's going to be tough. We've got tough times ahead to us, but we can do it together. We can beat it together. And you're not alone. I just want you to know that. Even if it's the last thing I say.